Hello, it's Linda Lysakowski. Our question for today is, how do I set goals for my development office? Well, the first thing to know is how not to set goals. And unfortunately, many nonprofit organizations set their goals this way. It sounds extreme, but believe me, it's true. I've seen it. The CFO develops a budget for the organization, and they walk into the development officer and say, okay, here's our budget for the coming year, and here's our income, here's our expenses, and here's our deficit. So here you go, fundraising person. Your job is to raise that deficit. Well, that's not the right way to set fundraising goals. It has to be done realistically and in joint consideration between the financial office and the development office. What's realistic for your organization? It may not be realistic to expect you to raise unusual sums of money. If you already are doing development, you can always go back and look at last year's budget and perhaps set some goals, like maybe you want to raise 10% more this year. Maybe you think you can raise 15% more or even 20% more. Maybe if times are tough and you're in a bad economic situation, maybe your goal should be just maintaining what you currently already raise. And if you can do that, you're really doing a great job. But if you're going to be setting goals for the first time, remember it's going to be a little bit harder. So here's where you might need some outside expertise. Maybe talk to a consultant or some other nonprofit fundraising people in your community and find out how they went about setting their goals, because it is a little harder when you don't have anything to base it on. But it can be done as long as you're realistic. And remember, goals should be realistic, but they should also be stretch goals for many organizations. And the other thing to keep in mind when setting goals, it's not all monetary. Yes, you're going to be asked, how much can you raise? Every nonprofit fundraising person hears that question from their board and their CEO. But some of your goals should be monetary and some should be non-monetary. Some examples of non-monetary goals might be, you want to increase participation. Maybe your staff isn't giving. Maybe your board isn't giving. So maybe a good goal is we want 100% board participation. And it's not necessarily tied to a dollar amount, but it's increased participation. Maybe building the infrastructure for your organization is important, especially if you're just starting out. So remember, the goals don't all have to be monetary. Some should be, but you should also think about those non-monetary goals as well.